Hello, I'm Cole Harvey, and we have got something extraordinary and very special in store for you today. As you're going to discover, it is both mine and my very special guest's birthday, and so we've decided to create a birthday celebration for you that genuinely, over the next few days, has the opportunity to transform how you see yourself, transform your deepest beliefs around money and abundance and belief in general, and so much more. We're going to tell you about it in just a second, and also in this little mini training teach you some of the biggest insights that my guest has had in terms of building a beautiful business, doing what he loves, impacting millions of people, and how you can create abundance in your life, and learn the 3 steps essential to change any habit, and why building new habits is one of the most powerful, important things you can ever do for yourself if you want to transform the results you get in your life. Let me introduce my special guest with no further ado. He is absolutely one of the most powerful teachers of abundance principles on the planet, and very special to me as a mentor and a long-term friend and client. He's a global expert on neuro-linguistic programming, hypnosis, whole brain learning, and many other technologies for tapping into the other 90% of your mind. More on what that means in a minute. He believes that everyone has an inner genius waiting to be awakened, and he's developed over the last 37 years some of the most effective personal growth programs ever released, like Photo Reading, Abundance for Life, Genius Code, and the world famous Paraliminals, which, as you're going to discover, you're going to have the ability to experience all week long. Stay tuned for more on that. He's spent over 37 years now helping millions of people to create success and abundance, and to go beyond what your logical mind believes is possible. The world's top personal growth experts uses technologies, people like Jack Canfield, Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Bob Proctor, Lisa Nichols, and many more. Please give a huge welcome to the one and only, the legendary Dr. Paul Scheele. Welcome, my man. Yeah.
So good to see you, Carl. Happy birthday. This is a celebration. Good for you.
So how nuts is this? Paul and I have worked together for many years now. As you're going to find out, I've been a student of Paul's for 8 or 9 years. It was only 2 days ago that we discovered that my birthday, the 1st of March, so it's my 34th birthday today, is the 37th birthday of when Paul and Pete Bissonnette started their company, Learning Strategies Corporation. 1st of March, right? So you
Absolutely.
are 3 years older than me.
Well, we had to create some way to bring you in, Carl. We had to get it started before you.
So it is an amazing synchronicity, and I think it's come together beautifully, because what we've decided to do is to give an absolutely extraordinary birthday gift to my audience, which is great. We're going to tell you more about that in a minute. First, we want to give you some incredible value and training and content, because this is a unique opportunity today and over the next few days to pick the brain of one of my all-time favourite abundance mentors, if not the favourite. You've taught me so much about the mindset and the beliefs of abundance, the habits of abundance, and basically how to be who you are, radical self-expression, and to create the exact kind of life you want by doing that, and feel really, really happy and positive, and transform the beliefs, the limiting beliefs that we all have. So before we get stuck into the gifts that we have for everyone, would you be ever so kind to share some of the biggest insights that you've had over the last 37 years, helping millions of people, and also creating what must be the ideal dream life and an outcome for you? Can you summarise it? What do we have to do to get a life like yours, Paul?
Thanks, Carl. Yeah, the thing that stuns me is when someone looks at me and says, "Oh, you're such a success." You have to take that with a grain of salt, because you also have to remember that there was a tremendous amount of suffering that went into finally awakening to the fact that, oh, this doesn't have to be that kind of struggle. I mean, it's biblical. It says, look at the lilies of the field, how they clothe themselves. How do they toil? They don't have to effort or struggle at this. We are by nature designed to enjoy the abundance that's ours to have. And so the question is, how do we gain access to it? It's not that does it exist, it's can we have access to it? And that's prosperity thinking, isn't it? seeing that there's an abundance of all the resources needed to get us where we want to go. And when I started learning strategies, I mean, the company that I had been working with, an international training and development company, got sold out from underneath my feet by a big company that came in and bought them, and they didn't want the division that I was running. Well, I had the fifth in a rollover of 5 phone lines on that company. I had a listing, and back then it was the Yellow Pages, the phone directory, and we didn't skip a beat. We started business literally the next day and were able to take phone calls. And, there was a time in the history of learning strategies where we didn't think we were going to be able to keep the doors open for another day. And we said, I'm full in here. If this closed today, I'd be doing the same work tomorrow. And that says something about the passion that you have and what you're choosing to contribute to the world. That's always going to be the starting place. Understand, we all come in with gifts. We all have special talents, and every one of us is absolutely unique. So it's about giving that to the world.
Oh, absolutely. One of the biggest insights that I've had so far on my adventure is that when you find that thing that you love to do so much that you effectively do it for free, that's a real clue to living your purpose or your dharma. And also it seems that the universe makes things easier and more effortless for you when you follow those inner nudges, when you do the things you genuinely love that you feel inspired to do. Has that been the case for you? Have you seen that with your students and clients as well, that when they do what they love, everything starts to seem to move in the right direction?
Yes, and in fact, and I want to emphasize this because a lot of times the thing that we really want to be able to do isn't necessarily what comes easily at first. Okay. Like the first speech I ever gave, I passed out in the speech. I talked with a woman today who's a client of mine, speaks internationally, all over the world, makes huge contribution to people's lives. First presentation she ever made, complete bust. She couldn't even speak. So the idea is, number one is, as long as you know that that's what you have a passion for, realize that that's yours to do. Choose that to be the thing that you're going to do, and realize that you are going to get really good at it. And anything worth doing is worth doing really badly at first.
True that.
Yeah.
True that. What are some of the other big insights that you've had 37 years now, doing your thing on a bigger and bigger level, that for everyone watching now, so let's say number one is to discover what you love to do and what you want to share with the world. What else can help us to create a life of abundance and good vibes and big impact?
Well, I want you to think about it as kind of this 3 phases that we go through as we establish the habit of being really great at what it is we're trying to accomplish, okay? And it's interesting because I discovered this and had a little different verbiage to it, but this turns out to be thousands of years old. It comes out of the Himalayan tradition of yoga meditation. It's the same 3 steps. So at the front end of what it is we need to do, we need determination, and then we need persistence, and then we need patience. Now let me describe this as like a big curve, like a big hill. So at first, determination, you're going to do a lot over a little period of time, and it's going to seem really hard. So think of going up as being difficult, and think of this as being time. So the x-axis and the y-axis, x-axis is time, y-axis is effort. So the first part is a lot of effort over a short period of time. Many people give up because they think, man, if it's going to be this hard, there's no way I'm going to be able to keep up. And they give up right when it was going to start getting much easier. And at that point, it starts leveling off, and that's where we need persistence. We need to stick-to-itiveness. We need to keep on keeping on. And a lot of times people will give up. You think about it like, well, we're talking about business, but think about it as a diet as well. It's like, oh, a lot of effort. Oh, I can't keep this up. I'm never going to stick with it. People give up right at the time when it was going to start becoming super easy. So persistence, or continuing to keep at it, is super important. And then patience, because what will happen is now it starts to become more automatic. Now we're just doing, we're in a rhythm, we're in a routine, and we're doing what we love to do, and it seems to be working, but then all of a sudden, boom, we hit a barrier of some kind. It's like, I didn't expect this to happen. If you're on a diet, somebody just put a plate of brownies in front of you, and after having one, you ate the whole plate, you know?
Guilty.
The idea is, don't beat yourself up for a failure. It's like our friend Lisa Nichols always said, you know, give yourself 1,000 second chances. And so this is where we need to be patient with ourselves as well as others. You know, Carl, when I got my business started, my wife said, honey, couldn't you just get a regular job? Like, couldn't you be a plumber or something like that? With just, you know, you could make a great income, and, you know, you could be home on the weekends instead of working all the time. And when she realized that that wasn't going to be my passion, it wasn't probably because she saw the kind of plumbing jobs I did around the house. But the idea is that I had plenty of failures along the way. That's where that, you know, the pain and the grief comes from a bit. But by staying on my own side and being patient with myself, then it gets wired in. Now there's no effort over time. It's just rolling, it's rolling, it's rolling. And that's it. Determination, persistence, and patience. And when you have those three things going for you, you will develop the habit of living your life full out according to the purpose and passion that you have.
I love that. So good. I can certainly relate to that in my life in terms of falling in love with something so much that the idea of giving up on it was alien to me. Of course I was going to persist. And then at first I was very impatient because I want things to be easier, I want things to be faster. And luckily I got drawn to your work, people like Deepak Chopra, Stuart Wilde, Arnold Patton, and many others that really at the deepest level emphasize the fact that everything unfolds in its own perfect time, and to not resist. When you struggle against the present moment, you're struggling against the entire universe. So perhaps, maybe, that when things are taking a little longer than you had decided they should take, maybe there's a greater reason behind that. Maybe the universe is unfolding as it should be, and if we can go along and really just let go and enjoy the adventure and stop trying to force things, then things will unfold in their own perfect time. And that's what I've found more and more. Like, I don't rush, don't struggle anymore. And I trust if something isn't coming as quickly as I might have decided I wanted it to, that there's a reason there, so I don't fight it. Have you got any insights or advice for people that might be struggling with that? Because I know a lot of people in my audience, when it's not coming in, they start to lose faith, or they get impatient and they're like, well, it's not working, maybe I should go back to that job I hate, or maybe I should do that other thing that I really don't want to, but it's the plumber option, it's safe. All of my family says I should just do this because it's a stable income, rather than having the faith and the persistence to really keep going with it. Any advice how to stay true to your purpose during those dark nights of the soul, the nights where we doubt ourselves and we haven't got that faith?
Well, you know what it's like, Carl, when you need to get the supportive voices around you that really see you for the giftedness that you possess, for the unique talents that you're bringing into the world. I remember a man coming up to me I worked with years ago at that international training and development company before I started learning strategies. And years later, we used to go to basketball games in the Twin Cities here of Minneapolis and St. Paul. And, I'd pick him up at the end. He was in a wheelchair, and I'd pick him up, and we'd go to a basketball game. He said, Paul, you are my model of persistence. I was almost shocked by that, but I have to tell you that I think it's really true. I just doggedly pursued it. And the biggest disappointment was never what was going on in the world out there. It was kind of letting myself down, thinking that I wasn't good enough, because it wasn't coming fast enough. And when we start closing down, I'm not worthy, closing down in our head, then we check out. And we got to be all in on this sort of stuff, or we start feeling like, none of my mates are really supporting me in this. Well, then you got to bring in people that really do support you, that really see you for who you are and your passions. Like my father was a training consultant or a management expert, and he and I would get together all the time. And at the end of his life, he said to me, Paul, you're the most creative man I've ever met. That really touched me deeply, because for so many years he said what you were talking about. Yeah, why don't you go get a real job? Why don't you get somebody who can help you get a real job with a stable income? Everybody wants to see us succeed, but we have to succeed on our own terms. We got to be able to sing that song, I Did It My Way.
True that.
And people like you and I, everybody who's watching this right now, Carl, I mean, there's synchronicity that they're just here listening to our voices and watching us right now. There is a part of you that's trying to reach out into the world with the gifts that you're here to contribute. The biggest problem that all of us have is that we can see the end result way in advance of it actually arriving.
Right.
And that's why persistence and patience are such a key component of this. You have to be your own best friend first and foremost. While everything else out there is going haywire, you have to find that inner sense of security, feel that right down in your gut that this is yours to do. Nothing more, nothing less. This is what you're going to do. And you're going to do it well.
Boom. Perfect segue for a tool, a technology that helps you to feel like that. I mean, almost effortlessly. Let me introduce this with sharing how I discovered it. It was about 8 or 9 years ago. I was in a very, very different place, a very dark place. I had a very tumultuous upbringing, got kicked out of my house when I was young, big daddy issues where I wasn't being approved of, and it caused a lack of self-love and in my life, and I was struggling. I was very depressed, very dark, and absolutely wasn't confident at all, like quite the opposite. I assumed, or I really believed at the deepest level, that I was never going to amount to anything, that I was not worthy of love, and a lot of really, really dark experiences. I wanted to be what I called then rich. Like I wanted to have money so I could travel and explore and effectively not have a real job, because already by then I'd realised that going to sit in an office for 50 hours a week scared the living bejesus out of me, because it was like it felt like I was in the Matrix, that people weren't being real and honest, that it was this facade that people put on. I couldn't do it. My soul wouldn't let me. By a beautiful, sweet synchronicity, I was led to an article by Steve Pavlina, the blogger, who wrote about this crazy technology called paraliminals. Now, if you don't know anything about Steve, he is like the least salesy man on the planet. Like, he doesn't endorse anything, and he was being incredibly effusive in his praise for paraliminals. Even in the review, he was saying, look, I have tried thousands of visualizations and meditations, and most of them not very good. But these paraliminals from Dr. Paul Scheele work in a very special way, and he proceeded to lay out all of the scientific research and evidence and how it all works. Luckily, after reading his 5,000 word review of paraliminals, I gave one a try, and I remember putting it on. I was hopeful that it would do something for me, but by that point I was in such a dark place that really I wasn't anywhere near I am now in terms of assuming things are gonna work out and unfold in a positive way. So I gave it a go. I think it's 18 minutes, the Prosperity Paraliminal that I listened to, and by the end of it, like, my life changed. The fact that I felt so differently without doing any work, like the belief I felt, the energy throughout my whole body, what I was visualizing, I was able to see it for the first time. I felt powerful. I felt inspired. And then synchronicities started unfolding in my life. I got new ideas and a new sense of confidence. And that was like from the first listen. From then, I've listened thousands of times to the entire collection of now 51 paraliminals. And they really have changed my life in the most tremendous way. So big shout out to you, Paul. Thanks for that, mate. We've got some very exciting news for everyone watching. and in my audience to celebrate my 34th birthday and the 37th birthday of Learning Strategies, which coincidentally falls on the same day. We're making available access to all 51 Paraliminals for the next few days, completely free. You can listen to any of the Paraliminals and go through the entire collection, binge on them, stop the Netflix binging for a week and binge on these and watch the transformation. But before we give you the link to let you go and do that, Paul, for those that haven't used Paraliminals before or might have used them a while ago and are returning to the fold, what are Paraliminals? What are some of the key benefits of using them? And why are they quite so magical that millions of people around the world rely on them to create these new levels of belief and confidence and certainty and more?
Well, when the technology originally came to me years ago, years before digital audio was even made available, I got this download of what we needed to do. We needed to be able to contact resources that were already within us and then bring those or translate those into the world to do the things that we wanted to be able to do. If you could think about the capability to accomplish anything that you would choose to do, the capability to overcome fear, to create prosperity and abundance for yourself, to eliminate self-sabotage and get things done, whatever it is you want to be able to do, the resources are already within you to do that. And at the time that I created Paraliminals, basically self-improvement was really starting to take hold as like the personal growth movement was really beginning to happen in the late 1970s. And the message said, don't tell people how to live their lives. They'll be able to figure that out. Just give them access to the resources that are within them. 20 years after launching Paraliminal technology, I did a big survey, used my doctoral level research to try to figure out what were people getting out of Paraliminal technology that was making such transformational change in their lives. And they actually said the very same words that original downloaded voice said. What I love about Paraliminals is they don't tell me how to live my life. They put me in touch with resources that are already within me and help me bring them out into the world. So if you think about this, who you are, the pure self, ever free, ever pure, ever wise, you have all that you need already within you. It's a matter of bringing this out into the world. And so the technology is designed to speak to the two hemispheres of your brain simultaneously. You hear everything, but your conscious mind, which is really limited and carries all the programming of lack and limitation with us, you bypass that. You can hear it, but you just let it flow beyond, and you work directly with this much more vast, much more powerful non-conscious mind, or the other than conscious mind. And that's what allows you to achieve such phenomenal results in such a short period of time.
One of the things that I think when people haven't tried Paraliminals before, and I certainly had this, the healthy dose of skepticism that I can just lie there, press play, and in 20, 24, 26 minutes, anything's going to happen. And all I say is, well, suspend your disbelief and just go and listen to one, and then just check in afterwards. How do I feel differently? How's my energy, my belief, my certainty? Like, I've got all my family and friends using these now, for years now. This is, a lot of my boys work in high-level sales, selling 6- and 7-figure deals to CEOs of multinational corporations. They listen to Sales Leap Paraliminal or the Belief Paraliminal or the New Action Generator Paraliminal before their sales calls to get them in effectively a state of peak performance or flow. If you've read much about the flow state, effectively Paraliminals are instant flow. It's how you get yourself in this perfectly chilled yet powerful energy without doing anything. And it's like the deepest meditation you ever had. And it's like the most powerful hypnosis that guides you to effectively let go of limiting beliefs and have these new beliefs without doing any work or struggling at all. It really is an absolute revelation. And one of my biggest passions and purposes in life has been introducing people to the Paraliminals. I can't believe that I only just found out we were born on the same day, the old paraliminals and me, because it makes so much sense now that the first time I listened to it, I instantly knew my life was going to change and had changed in that instant. And then since then, I've introduced, I mean, tens of thousands of people to paraliminals. And today, you get to experience any one you like for free. In fact, you can listen to all of them, all 51 paraliminals. I've never been able to offer this before, and it is my absolute pleasure to be able to do it this week. So there'll be a link below where you can go and have a look at the paraliminals carousel. You can go round and round, listen as many times as you want, and really just immerse yourself in the paraliminals and see if this is something that you believe would be beneficial to you over the coming weeks, months and years. And if you're anything like the thousands of people I've already introduced to paraliminals, it's going to be a firm yes. And we've got an incredible special discount as well, best birthday discount if you want to get the whole paraliminals. We're going to come back tomorrow and do a special training as well with Paul. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Before we do that, Paul, any thoughts now for anyone that's going to go and listen to the paraliminals in terms of what to expect and to future pace them for the beautiful experience they're about to have?
Yeah, the most amazing thing about them is that they're so restful. So whatever title you choose to listen to, there's an inquiry at the beginning that asks you what it is you're choosing to create. So just establish that as a goal for yourself. And all you have to do is close your eyes, sit back, and listen. And the ideal is if you can have stereo headphones. Good stereo headphones would be great. Earbuds are okay. But these are created in such a rich auditory environment. You're going to hear nature sounds in the background, holosync technology that puts your brain into the ideal learning state. And just let the words wash over you, because there's two voices happening at one point called the change work in track 3. They're both happening at the same time. You don't have to follow along. You just let your mind drift. And you'll hear it all, but just let your mind go with it. The words washing over you are speaking directly to the non-conscious mind. And because perhaps nobody ever told you that you even possessed one, let me explain to you, it's 10 billion to 1 more vast than the data storage base of your conscious mind. And it will process millions of bits of information compared to a few bits of information per second that your conscious mind does. So you're going to be in the arms of the most powerful resource you possess, and that's your mind. The paraliminals are going to guide you to make the most of that brain and mind that you possess.
Woohoo! Birthday week. Go do that. Go unlock some inner genius. Click the link below now and you'll get free access to the paraliminal carousel. All 51 paraliminals there for you. And it is an absolute gift to be able to share this with you. Join us tomorrow. All this week, Paul and I are going to be hosting these mini trainings. And tomorrow we're going to talk more about the subconscious or the other than conscious mind. Just why it's so vast, why it's so powerful, and also why it's essential to do work with the other than conscious mind if you want to make tremendous positive changes in your life. Plus, in tomorrow's mini training, we'll talk about some of our favourite paraliminals for money and abundance and prosperity. So if that's important to you, if you want to create abundance in your life, make sure you join us tomorrow and you'll get the fast track insider's guide to which paraliminals are going to help you to do that in the least amount of time with the least amount of struggle. Yeah, Dr. Paul Scheele, you're an absolute boss. Thanks for doing this for us. And
happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you, my man. And we'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the paraliminals. Go listen. You're going to have an absolutely extraordinary experience. Enjoy, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.